Well, welcome everybody. It is truly amazing to see so many of you here today. My name is Eugenie Burrage, and I have the privilege of leading product strategy for Microsoft Intune. That means I get to work with the product and engineering teams, the folks that actually design and build Intune. Now, I've been to quite a few Ignite sessions in the years, but this year's feels especially special. I'm genuinely excited to be here alongside our VP of Product, Jason Roszak, but I'm also most excited to share with you what's new and what's next for Intune. In the 4 years that I've been working on Intune, its journey has been tremendous. What started as a small service has grown larger than anyone could have imagined just in the last 5 years. Intune's footprint has extended tenfold since global events has forced everybody to embrace the cloud just to enable remote work. The growth has been explosive. Intune is now much more than a cloud option for conditional access. It's become the world's largest full fleet device management system. Welcoming all of you, our customers, who have entrusted us to manage your entire digital estates has been incredibly rewarding. Today, Intune supports Windows, iOS, Mac, Linux, and many other device platforms. We're here to support your personal devices, contractor devices, browser-enabled devices, and especially those for the frontline. It's amazing to me that now there is over 1 billion people on the planet using Windows 11. And as a Windows company, and since Intune is built on the Microsoft cloud, it makes sense that 70% of the Windows devices managed by Intune are in the cloud. And it's your trust that has helped us get there. You've also shown us that same trust to manage your Mac devices. Even large organizations have realized that leaving Mac OS devices unprotected is just not an option. We've seen large enterprise Mac cloud management double year after year, and that's such a huge milestone. But you didn't stop there. You've gone on beyond supporting information workers to protect frontline workers. Those workers who use purpose-built devices and do so simply and securely. Those that directly engage with your customers are the most important. But the world is changing as we know it. AI has arrived and it's reshaping everything that we do. And that's why I'm especially excited to be here at Ignite with you this year. AI is fundamentally changing our industry, unlocking new opportunities for endpoint management, security, and innovation. It helps us to move faster, scale further, and be more agile than we ever have before. And with AI, we're discovering new ways to protect your people, your data, with our products. But we know this transformation is not easy. Real-world challenges are coming at you fast and at every angle, and change can feel daunting, sometimes, frankly, even scary. But we're here for you. As your trusted partner, our goal is to help you rethink how work gets done. And we're here to help you every step of the way. So I'm going to leave you with a thought from Socrates. The secret of change is to focus all your energy not on fighting the old, but building on the new.
Hey folks, welcome to Ignite. How about that hype video? That was pretty awesome, right? I'm Jason Roszak from our Intune product team, and let me start by thanking everybody for being here. Guys, I want to echo what Eugenie said. This year is different. Last year, when we joined you at Ignite, we laid out what we thought was our vision for Copilot and Intune. And we were really beginning to experiment with AI and understand how it can help you in your day-to-day management tasks with Intune. This year, we are moving beyond experimenting, and we are making it real. So what we'll take you through today is really what we're focused on in the product and what you guys can expect in the coming months. But I'll tell you, when we think about our mission and the way Intune is evolving, there's one big thing I hope you see today. Intune is becoming AI-driven and cloud-powered. That will be the foundation of our product going forward. And if you guys think about that foundation, there's really three key things we're focused on the engineering team. The first is enabling cloud management for everything. Eugenie talked about the growth in Mac, Frontline Worker, and Windows. We want to help you guys make sure you can move from hybrid configurations to fully cloud native. And that becomes critical because those cloud native workloads are the prerequisites to starting to take advantage of Copilot and Intune. The second thing we want to do is make AI ambient across Intune. We want to meet you where you are in your day-to-day workflows and make sure you have Copilot as an assistant there to help you with your most common task. And third, perhaps most importantly, we all want to take advantage of AI inside the product, but we can't do it in an uncontrolled way. We want to introduce AI in a safe way that you can trust. And the third big focus for us is to make sure that Intune is that trusted platform where you can effectively leverage AI inside your day-to-day work. But it starts with cloud native. This time last year, we talked about the importance of cloud native with security, with standardization. This year, we really want to re-emphasize the importance of it as no longer optional. Cloud native establishes the foundation for the AI wave in Intune. Simply put, if you don't have your apps in Intune, if you're not doing patch from Intune, if you're not doing policy from Intune, we don't have access to that data to enable some of the experiences you're going to see today. So the first thing I would ask everybody, if you haven't started projects yet to move all of your workloads to the cloud and fully interjoin your devices, now is the time. But with that said, we do recognize there's challenges. Many of you want to go cloud native, but you've got technical hurdles that prevent you from getting there. You love Autopilot for device provisioning, but what do you do in disaster recovery? You love Intune for patching your devices, but you need very granular access to the data on the device so you can understand what's happening. We fully understand that these things have to be addressed for you guys to move cloud native. And that's why a big part of our focus on the team is in enabling cloud native for all of your devices. When we think about Windows, one of the most common things I hear from folks is Autopilot is what brought me to the cloud. They love Autopilot, they drop ship a device to users, they power it up, it's instantly transformed into a work device. But the challenge they've had is what happens if that user's device breaks? How do you enable break-fix support where you can heal that device even in the event of something catastrophic in the operating system? So the first thing I'm excited to share with you all today is Intune Recovery. We announced it a couple of days ago. Oh wait, I'm ahead of time. We announced it yesterday. And Intune Recovery is really going to bring you a new capability where when a device repeatedly faces boot failures, it'll boot to WinRE and have a connection to Intune. That's going to do two things for you. Inside of Intune, you're going to have full visibility into all of your devices that are having boot challenges inside your fleet. The second thing it's going to do, we announced that coming later next year, we're going to have the first set of remediations where directly from Intune, you will be able to fully recover all of your Windows devices when they hit an issue. So we really think this is going to enable you all to have that disaster recovery support directly in the product. And it's going to help you twofold. One, if you have a user who calls help desk and they need to rebuild the device from the cloud, we'll be able to do that. And two, if you face some sort of global issue like we saw last year where the full fleet needs to be rebuilt, you can have that visibility from Intune. So we really think this is the key to helping you with those disaster recovery scenarios. The second thing we're sharing is new capabilities around how we report on your update compliance in the environment. So one of the most common things I hear when I talk to customers is, I need better visibility into what's happening on the device. Make reporting better, give me more data, help me understand at a much more granular level the things that I need to report on. Windows Updates with AutoPatch is here to help with that. So the first thing we're introducing is a device report. This will give you a tenant-wide view of all of your estate and their readiness across the fleet. The second thing it'll do is let you see device by device which devices are ready to receive patches. So if you have devices that say are out of disk space, or one of the foundational Windows services aren't running on the device, or it doesn't have an appropriate network connection, this is going to serve as a readiness dashboard so that you guys can see which devices in your fleet have challenges with getting patches. Many of you today have teams that full-time monitor this and go chase down the 20% of devices that don't get patches. This is going to create alerts for you so you can see all of your readiness across the fleet to help you get these devices current. And the third thing that we're introducing as part of this is a device timeline view, where you can see over a period of time what that device is trying to do. If it's failed to download the update, if it's failed because it's out of disk space, if it successfully downloaded the update, you're going to see all of that in the timeline view. So really the goal here is to give you much greater visibility and detail into monitoring your device estate's readiness to receive updates. Likewise, last year we talked about moving all of your accounts to standard user. How many of you use standard user today? About 1/10 of the room. We want to see everybody use standard user, and we want to make that easier. So as part of endpoint privilege management, we've introduced a readiness dashboard. The big thing I hear from customers with EPM is it's very hard to know where to get started and create your endpoint privilege management rules. How do you know which apps to approve to allow to elevate? How do you know which apps not? When you build your policy, how do you designate which applications should be available to elevate and which shouldn't? That's where the update readiness dashboard comes in. This dashboard will give you an analysis of the most commonly elevated apps, the most commonly requested apps, and it's going to create that dashboard view for you guys to better create your policy when you move to standard users on Windows. But that's not all. There's a session tomorrow with Lior and Sangi I would encourage everybody to attend, where they're going to go much deeper into what's new on Windows. I talked a bit about Windows recovery. We're also introducing something called managed backups for orgs. The idea there is if a user gets a new PC, they want that new phone experience where the new PC looks like their old PC. This is going to give that, where all of your personalizations will come to your new PC and we can make it look and feel like the old PC. The second thing I'm excited to share that Sangi and Lior will go into more detail about is our maintenance windows preview. How many of you have asked about maintenance windows before? A lot of people. We get a ton of requests for this. So this will let you schedule when updates and applications install on devices. So if you guys have off hours or you have scenarios where throughout the day you need updates to install, you'll be able to configure that maintenance window to fully control what installs on these devices. The second thing we're going to share in that session in a much deeper dive is what we're doing for application inventory. I hope you guys hear a theme from me. We heard you loud and clear last year that we needed to do better with reporting. With app inventory, we're overhauling the way that we do application reporting on Windows. So you're going to see unmanaged apps, managed apps, software usage. We're going to give you really deep detail into your application inventory on Windows. And then the third thing I would share here is we're introducing we're introducing app control for business with managed installer. The idea here is many of you have regulatory requirements where you have to have a very controlled allow list and deny list on your devices. This is going to give you a simple way to enforce an allowed list where only the apps you designate run, or a deny list to block the applications you don't want to run. So come to Sangi and Lior's session tomorrow. It's Breakout 340. They're going to dive very deep into all of these things. Now, we're not just focused on enabling you to use the cloud for Windows. We're also looking at Mac. How many of you here are using Mac on Intune today? Great, almost half the crowd. When I asked that last year, it was almost 10%. Guys, we are fully ready to support your Mac scenarios end to end. File vault encryption, firewall management, line of business apps, patches, conditional access, security settings. It's all in the product. The big things we're introducing this year are an improved platform SSO experience, where when you go through the Mac setup process, we're going to fully provision the account without the user having to ever leave the setup experience. The second thing we're doing is iCloud backup management. The idea here is if you're using iCloud for any corporate communications or anything like that, you can set a new policy that requires that iCloud capability only be applied to corporate devices. And then the third thing that we wanted to share with Mac is really an update to how we do conditional access. So many of you, when a device goes non-compliant, you need a seamless experience for your users to get healthy again. So with this new experience on Mac, directly from the Office app or Teams or whichever M365 your app you're using, if the device goes non-compliant, that user can take action to get healthy directly within the app. So you'll see us really trying to make that get healthy experience in compliance much better. So I want to walk you guys through a demo to kind of share what this new experience looks like. There's two things I'll show you. The first is Lapse. What this is going to do is let you create a local admin password while you create a standard user on Mac. If you guys remember, we talked about the importance of standard accounts on Windows. They're equally important on Mac. So let me show you what that looks like. So here is our enrollment profile for Mac. You'll see a couple of things. We're going to create an admin account on the device and hide it from being visible to the user. The second thing we're going to do in addition to creating the admin account is create a standard account. So out of the box, you're secure by default, where the user enrolling the Mac device has to be a standard account. So this is what the user will see. They'll boot the Mac, they'll go through the setup experience. One of the new things with Platform SSO is you can now integrate with passkeys. So you guys will notice our user never put in their password. They simply signed a QR code from their phone, they scanned it, they took the passkey from their phone, and now the device is fully enrolled in provision. They didn't have to do MFA, they didn't have to type in their password, they didn't have to go through all of those things. The second thing you're seeing here is us creating the account on the device. You can see the username is already pre-populated from the variables in the previous policy. The user creates a password, very similar to your passcode for Hello for Business for scenarios when the device is offline. Now that we're fully managed, you can go to the user's and account setting, you can see the standard account, but you cannot see the administrator account that we created because we chose to hide it in the creation process. Now that we're enrolled and managed, you open Outlook, you have single sign-on, you're instantly authenticated, and you're ready to go. Back in the portal, the administrator has access to the file vault recovery key. Likewise, we have a policy on the local administrator account where we rotate the password based off the interval that you guys set. So you can see here we've made it very simple for you to get your Mac users up and running with a standard account and to create a local admin account so you guys can do maintenance in the background without the user being impacted whatsoever. And finally, I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about frontline worker. Eugenie mentioned we've seen 40% year-over-year growth in frontline worker. This tends to continue to be an area where we see people using the product for more. The first thing we're introducing for frontline workers is something we're calling enrollment time grouping. If you guys haven't heard about enrollment time grouping, I would recommend you go look that one up. What enrollment time grouping does is it's going to remove any latency you see in the enrollment process. It changes the way we target devices for enrollment. So the direct output you guys are going to see is when you push policies and apps and updates, they're going to go much, much faster. to devices on enrollment because of enrollment time grouping. So particularly in frontline worker scenarios where you need to get those employees up and running fast, this is really going to help you. The second thing we're doing is something called QR plus PIN. The idea here is many times you have seasonal frontline workers or other contractors that may not know a password, and they're on a shared device. You've got a cradle of devices rotating hands throughout the day. This will enable you to let that user sign in by simply scanning a QR code. Most of the time they put the QR code on their badge, putting in a PIN, and they're ready to go. Likewise, we've implemented DDM for line of business apps to give you full control on iOS, as well as new managed home screen capabilities where you can lock down that user experience in managed home screen in offline mode as well. And then finally, richer targeting. So if you have policies that are specific to frontline workers using Android devices, you can now target those accordingly. Now guys, now that we've set the foundation and we have our fleet cloud native, we can start to take advantage of some of the new AI capabilities we wanted to share. And I'll quote Eugenie and say, I'm especially excited, is that what she said earlier? Especially excited about what we have to share today here. So guys, we're creating two types of AI experiences in Intune. The first is assistive. The idea behind assistive experiences is you should have an expert Copilot companion helping you with everything you do in Intune. You need to look up a device, you need to create a policy. You should have that expert there inline in your workflow to help you. The second thing, and this is really our biggest set of announcements this year, is around agents. We want you guys to have agency for your digital agents in the environment so that they can do end-to-end tasks for you. So we've got a set of new agents we're going to share that'll give you guys some ideas on how you can start to leverage agents to complete tasks at scale. With our assistive experiences, we've introduced something called Copilot Chat. Copilot Chat exists across every blade in Intune. It's got access from Intune, our troubleshooting guides, our help desk documents. We've trained Copilot Chat to be deeply familiar with Intune and all of our technical capabilities. That chat, we've introduced a new chat history this year, where chat can recall things that you've asked it previously and use that history to help give you more tailored results to questions that you might ask. So guys, this will have Copilot embedded across all of your workflows. The second thing we're doing in assistive capabilities is Explorer. Explorer is your one-stop destination where you can ask any question in simple natural language about your devices and take action. Hey Copilot, tell me all devices with a broken firewall. Great, Copilot, help me fix them, create a group and remediate. That's the idea behind Explorer. We're constantly adding new data sources to Explorer to help you ask more natural language queries. So this year we've introduced endpoint privilege management, advanced analytics, and Windows Autopilot data directly into Explorer. So let me show you guys how this can help you. So we're in our endpoint privilege management dashboard. We've gotten a request from a user to elevate a particular application. This looks like a command line utility that they want to elevate. Before we decide whether or not we're going to approve the elevation, we want to go do some research. So let's find all users across the fleet that are elevating applications that aren't managed. So you've got a policy, it's read-only, you let them elevate, and you guys audit. We can see here our user that submitted the request to have permission to elevate the command line tool has many other elevations. So we'll dig into this particular user and we'll look at all of their elevation requests. So now with the EPM data, you can see which applications this user's attempting to elevate. Well, rather than just approve this elevation request for this one particular user, we saw there were lots of other folks trying to elevate this app as well. So we're going to take the policy and instead not just approve it for the user, but update the EPM policy to allow this elevation for everybody inside the company. So guys, this is just one quick example of how you can use Explorer to find and resolve the most common things in your environment. That will become the place where you go to ask all of your questions about your device data. Now, we talked about assistive experiences. Let's talk about agentic experiences. Guys, I'm really excited about this. If you guys think over the years with config mans and automation tools, you've had traditional if this then else logic. You guys had to be the gurus to create very hard-coded policy. If you see this, do that. If this happens, do that. It was all very rigid and deterministic in structure. The idea behind agencies is we want to move away from this deterministic if this then else logic to agents that can fully reason over your environment and your context. These agents will understand your company procedures that are unique to you. They will understand your company policies that are unique to you. And they will have agency to create outcomes, not deterministic workflows that are controlled by you as admins. So I want to walk you guys through in a bit more detail how we're thinking about agents. In general, we think there's 3 types of agentic remediation you'll see in Intune. The first is guided. What guided means is we're going to give you a set of instructions. Hey, I'm an agent, I found a thing, fix it by going here and pressing this button, this button. It's going to give you a set of instructions to remediate what it needs to remediate, and then it's on you as the admin to do that remediation. The second is what we're calling assisted. You guys will see this in all of our agent demos. Agents will create suggestions. Hey, Jason, I would like to go fix the firewall on these 20 devices. Do you approve? The agent won't take any action unless you first approve it. Once you approve it, we keep you in control. The agent will then go performance automation. The third type of automations and remediations we see as autonomous. The big difference between assisted and autonomous is agents act without informing you first. They just go immediately take action. We have heard from many of our customer conversations that we are not ready for fully autonomous agents yet. Where we think the sweet spot is right now is an assisted. So what you guys will see in our agent demo flows, and this will be the pattern for how we treat agents in Intune. Agents create suggestions, you approve those suggestions, and those suggestions operate under you. So let me give you guys an idea of what this looks like. The first agent I want to introduce you to is the policy compliance agent. One of the most common things I hear from people is you guys have policies around your configurations. There is a document somewhere in the org that says, I have to set up policy this way, these are my requirements, this is what the security team says on these devices. The second thing I hear is many of you base your policy configuration off of industry documents. How many of you use CIS benchmarks? How many of you use Microsoft baselines, HIPAA configs, PCI compliance? These are all documents that we use to drive our policy. Guys, what if we could turn those documents directly into policy in Intune? That's what the policy configuration agent does. It's going to translate your company documents into policy in Intune. Let me show you what that looks like. So this is our policy configuration agent. The first thing I want to highlight to you is something called creating a new knowledge source. We're going to give this knowledge source a name, but you might ask yourself, what is a knowledge source? This is how the agent gets context about your organization. A knowledge source is any document describing a device config, a compliance framework, a risk assessment document, a best practices doc. When you create that knowledge source for the agent now has that knowledge for anything that it does. So we've created our knowledge base for the agent. Now we're going to go build a policy off of that. So we're going to give this a new policy name, and we're going to pick the knowledge source that we just created, the secure systems baseline. The second thing I want to show you guys is we're going to tell the agent what to do. Take that knowledge source for the secure baseline and go create a policy. You could tell it to remove things like encryption or remove a certain configuration. In natural language, you tell the agent what to do. Here the agent is saying it parsed your policy doc, and it has 17 settings that it's going to successfully apply. The third thing I want to show you all is the agent's going to give you a confidence score. It will tell you its confidence in its ability to map your regulatory document to policy in Intune. So once we've done that, Now the agent has read your document, it's created the policy in Intune. You can see all of the configurations that it just created. Now you guys assign the policy to a group and you deploy it. But wait, there's more. So guys, you've applied your policy to devices. How many of you are audited and have to show compliance with a regulatory doc? Now the agent's going to go and look at every individual setting on the device and audit compliance with that setting to create an auditor-ready report for you. So when you guys have your auditors, you simply give them the report. It's going to show end-to-end all of your devices that have your configuration. So guys, pretty cool, right? Now, a few key concepts you'll see across our agents. Don't forget about knowledge sources. Knowledge sources teach the agent context about you. The natural language ability to tell the agent what to do and the confidence. We think these things are critically important. The next set of scenarios I want to show you leverages the full benefit of Security Copilot. It's not just Intune data. It's not just your company context you've given us as a knowledge source. It's also the data we have across security. So many of you today have change control review boards or processes where before you guys can make an administrative change in Intune, before you update that app, before you change that baseline, you have to submit a request to a reviewer to approve that request before you could do it. Boy, oh boy, wouldn't it be cool if Copilot could analyze that request and help you in the process. So I want to show you how we're taking data from Defender, from Intune, from Intra, from all of our security sources to help give you multi-admin approval where the agent can act as an approver. So guys, the next agent I'd like to introduce you to is our change review agent. So here we're creating the change review agent. The first thing you're going to notice is under our settings for the agent has access to Intune, Intra, Defender, and Defender Threat Intelligence. It's pulling data and context from all of those sources to help its reasoning on whether or not it should recommend a rejection or an approval. So here you can see the agents evaluated several multi-admin approval requests. The first one I want to show you is a script. So you'll see the agent is analyzing the script and giving you more context about the script. Hey, we've seen from multiple indicators, it's linked to a malware campaign, tells you what it's designed to do, and then you get the factors. We're looking at the script reputation, the business justification, who the requester was. We are processing all of these signals about the change that's being proposed in Intune to help you determine whether or not it should be approved. Here the agent sees that this script is clearly malicious, so it's going to reject the script. Guys, this is just the first step. We want this agent to look at all of the changes you make in Intune. If you're creating policies that conflict with other policies, if you've forgotten users in a group, if you've uploaded a new version of an app that's already been superseded, this agent will be your helper there to guide you through those things. The third agent I want to introduce you to is the device offboarding agent. How many of you have a problem with device discovery inside your tenant? Is it managed? Is it unmanaged? Is it an Intra? Well, is it an Intra and Defender but not Intune? This agent will look at data across all of your sources to help you identify devices that need to be offboarded. So let me show you what this looks like. The first thing we're going to do is look at our settings for this agent. There's a key call out I want to give everybody for settings. So like our last agent, you can see it's got access to Intune and Intra. But guys, look at this. We're going to give the agent custom instructions. Hey, offboarding agent, I want you to go offboard all the users that aren't in Intune but are in Intra, except for the ones that have checked in the last 2 days. You've given a natural language instruction to the agent for how it should apply its logic. The agent goes out. It finds there's 10 Android devices that are in Intra, but not Intune. Look at the last bullet. It evaluated your custom instructions, and the devices that had checked in the last 2 days, it leaves out. The next thing it does is it gives you an option to disable the device directly from the agent. I talked about assisted remediation. This is assisted remediation. The agent's going to tell you, you make the approval to delete the device. So this agent will help you have hygiene across your services. How many of you struggle with vulnerabilities? If I had to pick an agent, this is my favorite agent. What this agent does is it's going to analyze all of the vulnerabilities in your fleet, and it's going to help you guys patch those vulnerabilities. You all have processes for the high priority critical vulnerabilities, but how many hundreds or thousands of vulnerabilities are in that medium risk or that long tail range? That's where this agent can help. So let me show you what this agent looks like. You'll see we're starting outside of Intune. So for those of you not familiar, this is the Defender portal. Inside the Defender Threat and Vulnerability Management dashboard, you will get a view into all of your top vulnerabilities in your environment. This particular first one requires we update recloud. You can see the impact score, the exposed devices, and you can get a lot more information about the vulnerability. Is it critical? Is it high? Who's it exposed by? And you can see the CVEs. But guys, this is typically where it stops. Defender tells you which vulnerabilities to remediate, but wouldn't it be cool if you could automate those remediations from your management tool? Now the agent is going to take that data from Defender and bring it into Intune and help you start the process of automatically remediating those vulnerabilities. So that same Relo cloud you saw before, it needs to update to version 5.1. We're going to tell the Intune administrator, you need to update the app. And just like that, we take the automation to go deploy the app. So guys, you are seeing the power of bridging the security and IT teams together, where you can find these vulnerabilities and automate fixing them to get to the long tail. Now, the last one I want to show you is the conditional access agent. How many of you have created a policy in Intune but not deployed it to users? I meet big multinational organizations that say, hey, Jason, I've got 500,000 security groups. How do you expect me to not accidentally assign something to a security group? What if you had an agent looking over your shoulder to help you identify those things? That's where the conditional access agent comes in. So the conditional access agent is going to start by looking at your MAM policy. You guys have all done this. This is a classic MAM policy in Intune. You're setting DLP, you're setting your URLs that you want to protect. This is the same MAM policy you use every day. You'll see here, though, that we've got 4 groups that it's assigned to. The MAM users, the IT team, LATAM. So we've applied the MAM policy, but guess what we didn't do? We didn't update our conditional access policy to require MAM-protected devices to access organization resources. So the conditional access agent evaluates your full environment. It sees that you created a MAM policy, but it sees you did not create the corresponding conditional access policy. So the conditional access agent is going to make a recommendation to you. I saw the MAM policy, I didn't see CA, you probably believe you're protected, but you didn't finish the last mile. We highly recommend you go the last mile and deploy the CA policy. So now we're in our conditional access policy, we deploy, and the user is healthy, and you've protected these 4 groups. So guys, this is an example of how Copilot can help you look at your configurations and make sure you don't miss anything. So, agents are really cool. They're great. You guys don't want agents running wild in your environment. One of the most important things to us is to make sure that you have a trusted platform where you're in control. So guys, I want to finish with this. I want to share with you what we're doing to make sure you have controls in your environment for these agents. The first thing we recommend, just like you adopt least privilege for your users, you should adopt least privilege for your agents. The best way to manage agents is to extend your existing infrastructure that you use for users to these agents. All of our Intune agents will be integrated with Intra-Agent ID. Intra-Agent ID will give you full configurations for RBAC and permissions on what these agents are allowed to do, just like a human user that's using the Intune admin portal. So this will give you RBAC and identity built directly in. The second thing I want to show you, we've got least privilege, but the other thing we hear is folks are not yet comfortable with agents acting in their environment. So we've introduced something called task. The idea behind task is whenever an agent wants to take an action, but it doesn't have permissions, it creates a task for you, and you decide if you want to approve it. So guys, this is our new unified task menu. It shows all of your tasks. The first task you're going to see is a multi-admin approval request. So hey, an admin wants to create a script, they need a second admin to approve it, all of your MAA requests show up here. The second thing you're gonna see is an EPM elevation request. So a user wants to elevate an app, just like I showed you earlier. That request will show up here as a task for you to approve. So you can see we're bringing all of the tasks that you have to approve as an admin directly into one place. Finally, the third one I want to show you is the security team. So let's fast forward, guys. Now we've got agents in the environment. Agents are not going to act without your approval. So what you're seeing here is what's next. Your vulnerability remediation agent, your offboarding agent, they create tasks for you and you approve the task. Guys, this is a change in how you perform your workflows. The first thing you should do is log into Intune and look at your task. Agents will create these tasks, you approve these tasks go off and remediate devices. The second thing that you guys should know that you might not have picked up in the demo, these tasks are not performed from the agent context, they're performed in your context. Why does that matter? Agents have two permissions, read stuff about devices and create tasks. They don't have permissions to install apps, they don't have permissions to install patches. These are things that you guys as admins have permissions to. So when that task goes to you and you approve that request, it is Jason Roszak, the admin, that's patching that app with the agent doing it on my behalf. The reason that's so important, guys, is it honors your RBAC. The agent only has permissions to read and create tasks. You have the permissions to do everything else. Finally, the last thing I want to show you guys, deployment plans. How many of you said, boy, Intune, wouldn't it be great if we had controlled phased rollouts where I could go to ring 1, pass some criteria, go to ring 2. Guys, I am super excited. This is one of the things I've heard the most in the last 3 years. We are introducing deployment plans in Q1. Deployment plans will give you phased rollout ring-based approaches with pause and cancel options. What's powerful about this is you'll be able to use it for both. You guys need to update an app, deploy a patch, deploy a policy. You now assign it to a deployment plan. It goes through a phased ring out. But your agents will also be able to use it. So if an agent wants to fix a vulnerability, but you guys want it to happen safely, the agent will send the vulnerability to the deployment plan. It'll make its change in a rolled out phase fashion as well. So guys, I really wanted to end with this because we think it's absolutely critical that we have least privilege, we keep you in control, and you guys have a system you can trust. Oh, but wait, there's more. Guys, the #1 most painful conversation I've had in the last 18 months is, boy, Jason, this Copilot stuff sure is cool, but I've got to pay this extra consumption thing. Can you guys please fix the business model? I think I've heard it a million times. Guys, we shared this yesterday. If you didn't see it, I am super happy to tell you for the first time. If you are an ME5 customer, all of that AI value you just saw is now included in ME5. I thought you guys would like that. So guys, yes, thank you. If you haven't tried Explorer, if you haven't tried these agents, guys, this is the future of Intune. Please get in there, try it now, give us feedback, tell us what works, tell us what doesn't, and we want to go on this journey with you and be your trusted partner. We've got 2 more sessions. Tomorrow, Sangi and Leo are going to do Breakout 340. All of the deep dive cloud native stuff will be there. And then we've got a second deep dive from my end on Zero Trust and how Intra and Intune are coming together. Please go check it out. And with 40 seconds left, thank you all very much.